Hiya, it's Wendy here again from Toonpish Crafts, and I hope you're doing okay. Now recently I had an idea, and when you have an idea, well, when I have an idea, I just have to try it. There's no ifs or buts. I've got to try it out. Well, this was one of those ideas and I just can't believe I haven't tried it before. Now recently I have Googled this subject, stencils in resin, and there are quite a few videos out there on stencils in resin, but I haven't watched any of them, so I don't know what they're like. Perhaps you can tell me. I don't know if they're doing it the same way as I am doing it in this video. Now, I was so excited to try this because I'm no painter, I'm no artist, but I love crafting. And I think this opens so many doors for those people like me that love art but are not fine artists. I wish I was, but you know, don't we all? Anyway, I hope this video gives you some inspiration and opens your eyes to what you can do. It's not just for resin, it's for other crafts as well. But yeah, let's have a look how I got on with some stencils. So I had a rummage through my moulds and I found this old geode type tray mould, and I thought it would be a perfect size for what I'm going to do. But as always, you need to clean your moulds before you use them. Even if they're stored in bags, they still collect dust. And this is the stencil I've cut out of my xTool M1. I got the pattern from Creative Fabrica and their link will be in the description box below. It's just cut out of PVC glossy plastic. But as it's glossy and plastic, it seems to be adhering quite well to the silicone mould. So I'm hoping that this will stay put while I put in the colour. On this stencil, I just need the inside of this stencil, not the outside edge. So it doesn't matter if it's rough cut at all. I just want it to sit inside the mould. Once I'm happy that it's actually sitting inside the silicone mould area, then I'll just make sure that it's straight for me. There are a couple of little extra bits for this stencil. The pupils of the eyes and a tiny bit on the top right hand corner that needed to be put in separately. So I got them into the position that I wanted, and then I got my colours out. These are Emma Cook's colours. I will put her link in the description box below. I'll also link the video of when I first tried these because her colours are absolutely stunning. They're quite a high class mica powder. They are expensive, but they are gorgeous and they go so far. You really don't need very much at all to colour what you're colouring. They're not designed to put into resin itself. They are designed for coverage of resin pieces or wood or art that you're doing. Anyway, I'm gently going over the area with a very fluffy type brush. This is a makeup brush, by the way. I use those quite a lot with resin and mica powder. And I'm trying to keep the mica powder in the area of the stencil so that it doesn't get pushed underneath the edge. Although this plastic is really quite adhered to the silicone, and I do think that it's going to work quite well. So I started off with Inferno. I'm now on to Poison, and I was going to use more colours, but I decided that those two colours were enough for this particular project. I wanted to see if this would work more than anything. I've never done this before, and I just wanted to play around and to see if I can get it to work nicely. So I'm kind of putting one colour one half and one colour the other half and getting it to meet in the middle. It was a lot of fun this though, but it always is when you're messing around with new things that you're not sure of. I love messing around with ideas, playing around with new ideas and techniques. Now I'm not saying this is my idea, I'm not saying this is my technique. I actually Googled stencils in resin recently, just before doing the talkover. And there are quite a few videos out there on stencils and resin. I don't know whether they use this method. I haven't watched them, so I can't say it's my idea, but I don't know if anyone's done it like this before. Perhaps you could tell me. That's the trouble with being a YouTuber. You don't get time to watch YouTube. I used to watch it all the time. I don't get time at all now. What with working and editing and making, my time just goes out the window. I don't know where it goes. Once all the colours put in, I've got a really big fluffy clean brush and I'm just getting rid of the excess by going over the area. And then I blow the excess powder away. Before I remove the stencil, I clean up the edges of the mould because the powder does go everywhere and I want the area around the stencil to be nice and clean. That's just a baby wipe. And then to get out the little piece in the top right hand corner, I used a piece of tape. Now I couldn't do that with the eyes, although I did try, because I was taking off the mica at the same time. So I then had to reapply the mica. So I decided just to use the tip of a blade to lift up the centre of the eye. And although I did remove a tiny bit of colour, I touched that back up. Then it's time to remove the stencil and it came off beautifully. And I am extremely happy so far. A couple of little areas I'm just going to touch up with a tiny brush. But generally speaking, I am over the moon with how clean this is. It's beautiful. I'm going to do the edges of this mould in antique gold, which is a metal powder, not a mica powder. It acts slightly differently to a mica powder, but it gives a beautiful, beautiful colour effect. Now I wanted to give this panther a bit of a soft edge, so I kind of dusted in a soft area around the outside of the panther. But the entire outside of the mould is coated in this gold and it is stunning. I'm going to be using JDiction 4-hour demold resin for this. It's a fast cure resin and I like fast. I'm also going to put it on a heat mat to decrease the curing time, and I'm stirring it with my Stereo mixer, which I'm actually getting used to and I really like now. I don't know if you saw that video where I tried this. I wasn't sure, but I'm really liking it now. Now I'm getting used to it. And I'm using my go-to Vista Black pigment. Any chameleon powder does do better with black behind it. So I'm just going to fill this tray mould up with black resin. Now I wasn't paying attention to the right hand side when pouring this, and I didn't realise I was pouring it over the edge. But yeah, should have poured it a little to the middle, I think. But never mind, no harm done. It's got a silicone mat on top of the heat mat, so I'm sure it'll come off. But I do try and utilise the resin. What a donut. I just couldn't see it. I wasn't looking. That's what happens when you don't look, isn't it? I was actually too busy watching the black resin go over the panther to take any notice of the right hand side. Spray it with isopropyl alcohol and then I go around the outside edge with a very fine paintbrush. Now I have used in the past micro brushes, but this gold tends to come off if you use anything like that. I figured I'd use a paintbrush instead. And of course, not forgetting my little TC signature piece in the back, which I just remembered to do, only just. So this is only 3 hours later and it is absolutely fully cured. I'm wearing gloves just in case I accidentally put a finger mark in it, although I don't think I will. It's solid. Got my TC in the back, I'm very happy with that. And it's time to take it out of the mould and see what we've got. I couldn't wait to do this. That's why I wanted to use fast cure resin. I couldn't wait for the next day. I wanted to see what it was like. If this comes out how I want it to be, I'm going to be doing lots more of this, I can tell you. Oh wow. Don't you just love those colours? That is just so gorgeous. And the gold did exactly what I wanted it to. It framed it beautifully. But the one thing I did notice was how bad the mould was. I'd forgotten. Well, I can always top coat it, that's for sure. As the good old Aussie gold hunters say, next time we're going bigger and better, and that's what I thought I'd do with this beautiful design. Again, it came from Creative Fabrica. I downloaded it and cut it on my xTool. I'm using Emma's colours again. The two that I was using, including Ether and Nether and Arcane, her colours are stunning. So I just thought I'd use her colours in this picture. Now with this stencil, you can see the white areas are the areas where I'm going to be colouring, but it also hasn't got an exterior line, so I will be colouring the whole of the outside as well. So I'm just going around and filling in the pieces. I'm filling in the areas with the colours that I want. I figured that it was water at the bottom and greenery, and I'm absolutely thoroughly enjoying myself, to be honest. I'm really enjoying this. Might make an artist out of me yet. I decided to go with the poison for the walls because I thought they would stand out, and the Inferno is going to be the big wolf at the back. Now I did think to myself that the teeth really need to be white. However, this is going to be filled in with black resin, and there is no white powder that will stay white with black behind it. It will turn silver or grey, unless you know otherwise, in which case let me know. So I thought maybe I would go with a really light colour that is more ghost-like instead of a bright colour. So I decided to go with some ghost pigment for those. So I went with ghost red for the teeth. Now I know the black behind it will make it turn reddish, but I might end up doing something with that anyway. I don't want red teeth, but I don't want black or grey teeth either, so we might end up doing something different with that. And I'm going to use Eye Candy Ghost Blue for the entire outside of the stencil, including the edges. And although it looks white, it will be blue. So once that's all done, I can take off the green stencil and you can actually see now where the picture is going to be. And I'm really excited about this one. I mean, I was excited about the last one, but this one's even more detailed. And I'm just thinking in the future, what more can I do? What other detailed stencils could I use? This is coming off quite lovely. And although it looks fairly white, that's because it's ghost pigments. I'm just going to touch up a few of the areas. But I think it's lovely. There are a couple of places down by the water where the powder had gone underneath the plastic, so I'm just going to use a cotton bud and clean those areas up. And it's ready for the black resin, and this time I will make sure it doesn't go over the edge because I'm paying attention to where I'm pouring it. I actually made up more this time because I'm going to put it in another project as well. But again, I'm using the Fast Cure JDiction resin. I do have a discount code for JDiction, which will be on the screen. It'll also be in the box below. And I'm using a very tiny makeup brush to go around the outside edge to get rid of those 90 degrees stuck bubbles and not dislodging the mica colour. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, I haven't got an xTool, I can't cut out stencils. But I'm pretty sure the Cricut could do the same. And there are loads of really cheap stencils on the market that you could use as well. Later the same day, I can demould, and yes, I managed to put my little TC in the back, which I'm very happy about. I do tend to forget it, you know. I managed to remember it twice this time. Beautiful shiny resin. And let's see, perhaps I need to invest in some bigger moulds. Wow, I absolutely love it. I don't like the pink teeth, and the blue around the outside is blotchy, but I'm happy with the way it looks. I really love it. Now, a friend of mine said it needed a border, so I put a silver border around using a Deco Colour premium silver pen. And I thought, hold on a minute, why don't I use that for the teeth? So I've put some on a piece of acrylic, and with a little tiny makeup eyeliner brush, I fill in the teeth area with the Deco Colour Premium Silver. And it actually looks quite white to me. And I think it really is going to do the business. But I couldn't stop there. Once I started this with the silver and did the teeth, I wanted to do more. So I kind of carried on a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more. but I do think it's giving it something extra. Before I show you the finished article, I just want to say hello and welcome to all my new subscribers. I've had quite a few recently and I wanted to say hello and welcome to my little channel. Don't forget to go and check out toonpish.com. It's a place where all my discount codes and affiliate links are, and there's also a fair bit on there now that's for sale that might help you out when you're crafting. So I decided it wanted some snow. I just felt that the mountains and the howling wolves and the growling wolf deserved cold weather to be so snarly. I absolutely love this. I adore it. I just can't put it into words really. I loved making it. I loved cutting it out on my xTool, and like I said, you don't need an xTool for it. It just really helped. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've got something out of it. If you liked it, please put the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. It helps my video get pushed out so others can see it. I'm definitely going to be doing more with stencils for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. Come back and see me next week because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting and bye for now.